Hi there, it's Wade McMaster here. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how you can get some interesting but basic effects using gradient maps in Photoshop. Now the way this works is that, say you've got an image or a design, you can overlay a gradient map and actually pick colors to basically make the entire image up out of. As you can see here, this image has goes from like a cooler sort of blue up to a different sort of neutral color, and you get similar effects like this, such as this one, where this one goes from, say, a dark sort of bluish to a real orange color, and it gives it that kind of like a two-color effect. And it's something you can use for your designs if you are doing anything, any kind of cool imagery. It can be used for Instagram or social media, such as these images here, or even for the backdrop in a website row. This is actually an image I took on my phone a few years ago that I used in the backdrop of a form on my website, which is actually just here. So you can use it even just to create dark, subtle areas on a website to use as a background, just to make things a bit more interesting. And I'm going to jump straight into Photoshop and show you how you can do that. Okay, so we're in Photoshop and I've got my basic image here. Now this isn't exactly an in-depth tutorial, it's pretty much just a single feature, very easy to do. So I've got my image open, and you'll notice on the right here I have my layers palette open. Now the way that works, if you don't have your layers palette, simply go to Window and then down to Layers to turn that on. Now once I've actually got the layer or the top layer of things selected, I can also add in some text if I want to. So let's say I want to just click this text button here, or the letter T. I can type in text in case I'm going to, actually do something a little more crazy with the design, like I want to actually have the text be a part of this effect. Make that white. So let's say I'm wanting to type something here. This is part of my design, basically. So I've got my two layers here. What I need to do is actually go down the bottom, and where it has this circle with the sort of like the black top and white bottom, I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to come up to gradient map. So I click on gradient map, and on top of that it creates this here. Now you notice this has gone into black and white. You see here I've got here basically a spectrum from black to white, which is the black being the dark portion of the image, the white being the light portion of the image. And the way that works is I can actually click on this and choose a different gradient. So I can go through and pick one here from my list. So if I have a gradient here, I can choose something like this, something like that, and you can see how the effect is working. But these gradients aren't really working, so what we're going to do is we're actually going to, at the moment, the sources are a little bit inverted. So you can see here where we got on the far left, which is where our dark area is. I'm going to click on this yellow, and here where the color is, I'm actually going to go to, say, a blue, similar to what I've shown you earlier, and go nice and dark. I can get it as dark as I want. I can make it almost black, but I'll try and keep a bit of blue in there. So you can already see straight away we got from blue to this almost peachy color. You can see the effect already taking place. Now, I could basically end the video there, and you could have a play with it and have a lot of fun with it pretty easily. But I'll just show you a few other features of what you can do. If I click on this color here with the red, you can see if I make it like 100% red, I get this nice effect. If I decide to stick with the blue, I get this nice single color effect. Or even if I bring it back to a slightly different blue, I can get some nice looks there. So what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to stick with the blue and the orange. But what you can also do is add in other markers in here and introduce other colors. So if I click here, it's going to actually ruin the image a little bit, because it's going to basically add another orange marker in there. So I'm going to click here, and I'm going to change that color. Now it's a bit too light, so I want to darken it a bit, and I can go back to my blue if I want to and try and get that effect. Now what I can do is actually go up and down here and start to introduce a third color somewhere in the center, such as green. Now, this isn't always going to be the best look. You do need to make sure it actually looks decent. But you can see here, now we've got this dark blue to green to orange look. And I can move that up and down the spectrum to where I think it's going to fit the best and get this nifty sort of effect that I've got here. So I'll just click OK. So that's basically how you can get an effect similar to the image I showed you at the start, except that one was only two colors. This is actually blue to green to orange. And it's a very quick and easy way just to get a nice effect on an image if you want it to look a little different, especially if you're doing a design with some text. You can, even if you want to, I can create a new layer here and grab my paint bucket tool, which I've just switched this layout around. So here we go, next to the gradient paint bucket tool, make this black, and I can sort of fade that in a bit still if I want to, and really highlight the text at a certain color. So you've got a few options there if you want to play with that. But another thing you can do is you can also blend this. So this layer acts as if it's actually carrying this image the way it is, and I can go into my layer blending options here, and I can play with multiply, color burn, and a whole bunch of other options and give it a bit of a nifty effect. So you can see here we've got overlay, sort of gives it a nice sort of look there, soft light. So it's not just limited to that one effect. I can actually go through and do different blend modes with my layers to further enhance the image and just play around and see what results I get. Now, if you're looking to just create a nice, simple, subtle background for your page, we can go back to our gradient here. I'm going to get rid of this. Oops. I'm going to get rid of this marker altogether just by dragging it off. If I want to, say, make this color, maybe, let's go say we're going to make this a really dark purple. I'll go down to my dark purple, not quite black. And then I go to the end of the orange, and it's just a simple case of me going back to that purple spectrum and just finding where I want it to land. So that way, if I want to create something very subtle to go in the background, whoops, I can pick what's going to look best. So this is great if you want just something to sit in the background of a website. Very subtle, very easy sort of look to achieve just with a gradient map. So that's it. That's pretty much it. Just exploring gradient maps. It's very easy to get some very nifty effects. Now, like I said, you can go a bit nuts if you want to and add in multiple colors. I've actually added black in along the spectrum, which it gives it a bit of a weird look. Maybe I want to go in here and add some red. You can really just go absolutely insane and have a good play with what's available to you. So now we've got this really weird, funky looking image now. Like I said, you can also dial the whole thing back a bit. So you got some, it's pretty interesting what you can do with this. But yeah, just a very simple tool, very easy to use, but you can get some very cool effects. So I do hope that was useful for you for designing. Like I said, could be Instagram, social media images, could be images for your website. But either way, a quick 5-minute job for any image for you to get the look you're after. So I hope you found that useful. If you did, please give it a like. If you want more videos like this or anything you're looking to learn in Photoshop, I've been using Photoshop for about 20 years. So if you need any information on Photoshop, pop a comment below and I'll see if I can help. Otherwise, don't forget to subscribe to see more, and I hope to talk to you again soon. Thank you.